Response to those who say, let's take it back to the good old days. Let's take it back to the good old days. Let's take it back to when niggas in the space knew their place, when cheeks were lined up and put in the cans, when one of color were fast wars and tramps, when Hoover bugged out to keep up with some microphones in his hotel lamps. Let's take it back to when the CIA placed hundreds of people in a certain bay and then let them be slayed and say, oh, we had nothing to do with it, it was what they wanted. Let's take it back to communist sympathizer witch hunts. Let's take it back to blacklist. Let's take it back to government control segregation because of pigmentation. Let's take it back to control of an honest population through sterilization. Let's take it back to when bullets flew, when Kennedy's brain was splattered, when Dr. King's skull was open, when Brother Malcolm sold it because of conspiracies buried in files and codes. Let's take it back to small black children being spread in the streets of the U.S., attacked by dogs, spreading like Christ by bigots. Let's take it back to chemical insecticides, people healthy crops that infected my uncles, my tias, my grandparents, who worked for under minimum wage as slaves and labored in the sun to be infected by cancer. Let's take it back to the Zoot Suit rise from America's they raped our women, beat our men, all in the name of defense. Let's take it back to when the only face of beauty was white, when Latino actors were forced to say they were Italian, when mixed mulatto treated they were not black. Let's take it back to when the only act in the fiction that depicted people of color was of sex, violence, and ignorance. Let's take it back to when Bruce Lee was forced to wear a mask because of his slanted eyes and means after the Green Hornet. Let's take it back to when blacks had not played in the NBA, before LeBron, before Iverson, before Jordan, before Zeke, before Magic, before Dr. J, before the Iceman, Wilkes, and Russell. Let's take it back to the good old days when millions of Americans went overseas and fighting wars, only to return in body bags because they were not white, could not be buried in the cemeteries that they died to keep. Let's take it back to when the government introduced heroin to Harlem, Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit. Let's take it back to when jazz was monkey music, back to blackface, Uncle Tom, yes, master mentalities. Let's take it back to when blues, jazz, and poetry were expropriated and black and brown voices were drowned out. Let's take it back to when breakers, MC, DJ, and graffiti were not subcultures, but back in Latino before BC Boys, Third Base, and Eminem, when hip-hop was in ghettos and in slums. Let's take it back to masters raped slaves. Let's take it back to when Thomas Jefferson had a love affair with one of his own. Let's take it back to cowards hiding behind seats setting crosses of blaze. Let's take it back to governmental testing that monitoring the outcome of AIDS. Let's take it back to the Trudy of Guadalupe, 40 acres and a mule. Let's take it back to the red man being infected by smallpox and blankets given to him by the U.S. survey. Let's get back to no question reality dogma of the age. Let's take it back to women not worth nothing, unable to build, making cookie tortillas and greens instead as I was time and time again. Let's take it back to Vietnam when men and women bled and bled and bled. That's when I hear people say, let's take it back to the good old days. I say, fuck that. No way. The good old days weren't as good as they say.